You're tuned in to the Daily BS.
Do you believe it?
Sports and culture combined into one.
Michael on the drive across the lane. Turnaround shot. Got it. 63 for Jordan. Are you kidding me? He did what?
The Daily BS begins.
Bazinga.
Right now.
Great googly moogly.
Hadouken!
Hey, this promises to be fun.
Can't wait.
An NBA legend and one of his daughters is gone. They were killed in a helicopter crash. And the NBA legend that is gone, and I hate to say his name, is Kobe Bean Bryant. And normally I begin with one of my monologues, but I think today it would just be right to have most of the folks that I know throughout the course of the week, at least for like the first hour, share their thoughts on one Kobe Bryant. And yes, this is Super Bowl week, but I'm also declaring this Mamba week in honor of the Black Mamba. Let me welcome Terry Little of the Common Sense Show TV. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
I'm heartbroken.
Yeah.
I
feel you.
I thought this was the cruelest of pranks that you could ever play on somebody.
Yeah.
And then instead of it having it being confirmed that it's a prank, it was confirmed that it's too damn real.
Yeah.
This is so tough. So tough to put into words. I'm going to allow you the floor to do so. How? Just how?
That's a good question, brother. Listen, when I was sitting at my computer and I was putting entries into my book that I'm writing, and a group text that I'm in was like, let's speak to Kobe as a, and I was like, Kobe who? That's the first thing I said, and it was like, Bryant, go look at the news or whatever. I looked at the news and I was like, now this is a hoax, because, they're always doing celebrity hoaxes. And so when I read the first article, I still didn't believe it. And then because I don't always trust TMZ. That's after we broke the story.
Yeah.
I don't always trust them. And so, but when I went to ESPN, they were airing the Pro Bowl, and one of the announcers confirmed it. And I was like, oh my goodness. First it was Kobe, and then it was, the next story I heard was all four of his daughters. And then I heard it was Gianna, his oldest daughter. And I was like, can this get any worse? But, you never ask that question, because normally when you ask that question, it does.
You really don't want an answer to that question.
You really don't. You really don't.
The way I found out, I was at work yesterday, and we were talking basketball. I mean, we were bringing up all the legends, and we just literally spoke about Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And no more than 20 minutes later, this news pops up, and I said, "This is not right. This is a joke." Yeah. Then I saw the cover. Someone had showed me the online cover of the New York Post, and my heart just dropped.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I almost canceled my appearance today. I was like, cause I couldn't even get myself together for a sec. And my wife comes in, and she said, "Babe, you okay?" She came home from church, and she was like, "Babe, you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay, but I'm not And I told her what happened, and she was like, Kobe Bryant, the basketball player? I said, yeah, about the basketball player. And so I was just in this funk. And I'm standing here in my backyard talking to you, and I'm like, it's cloudy here where I am.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a fitting situation.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
when the news dropped, I'm walking out of work and I'm going, I just kept saying my soul hurts.
Yeah.
And my wife saw the look on my face and she says, honey, what's wrong?
Mm-hmm.
I said, Kobe Bryant has died.
Mm-hmm.
And her face dropped. She went, wait, what?
Yeah.
So many people. I think this is going to be the course of my show for the next couple of days. You know, not to say I won't get into any Super Bowl coverage or have some great interviews, because I will. But when you get something this devastating, you and I have watched his entire 20-year career. 20 years.
Yeah. 20 years. And I remember when he first got drafted by the Hornets.
Yes.
Now, I'm from Charlotte. So we as a franchise was hurt because he didn't want to come here.
Right.
He went out to L.A. and all the accomplishments, the championships, the beef with him and Shaq, you know, all that stuff, them making up, and just the sheer greatness that was Kobe. I mean, and now he's gone.
He's gone.
And, it's hard, man. But let's do this. Let's not forget the other 8 victims. You know, we talking. Right. I mean, I know the sports world is rocked by the loss of Kobe, but think about the loss of, you know, his oldest daughter that was with him.
Yeah.
You know, can you imagine his wife? Can you imagine what the pain she's going through right now? Not only do you lose your husband, lose your oldest daughter. So the cloud is over the whole family, and I'm praying for the whole family.
I am also.
And everybody that was close to Kobe. It's devastating, but even in this tragedy, this is where we look into our own lives. Yes. And we say, can I forgive whoever? Can I let go of whatever? Yeah. I did a show, my personal show, that is the Common Sense Show. Yes. I did a show a couple of weeks ago, and I was talking about letting go because life's too short. People don't really care. And so it's tragic that we have to bring this back up. But if you are listening to this, and I'm sure you got a following and people are listening, listen, whatever you got going in your life, do a self-examination. If you got things or people in your life that you need to let go of, because tomorrow is not promised. The Bible says the man does not know the hour or the minute that his name will be called. You just don't know. Forgive those people. Yeah. Forgive the situation, let them go. Let's live our life. That's what Kobe did.
That's exactly what he did.
It's tragic. It's tragic to lose him. But you best believe that man lived his life. So we're going to celebrate him. It hurts. It stings. As fans and as people and as men, it stings.
It does.
But that man lived his life, and we should too.
The one thing I really can identify with his wife Vanessa is losing a child, because I lost my daughter when she was 2.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
You were one of the first people to send me a message, and I'll never forget it when your message said, Kobe can't be gone. I thought the same thing.
Yeah, can't be.
And it's like you said, as fans and as men, a self-examination is necessary on a daily basis. You know, something my wife has taught me and she has continued to teach me is to be glad for every day.
That's
And the probably the most shocking thing of all, and I have to let you go here in a minute because there's a line of people that I know wanting to chime in.
I'm sure it is. Yeah.
And I will, something I'm going to do, I'm going to find both of his jersey numbers in a picture, and it's going to be reflected on my social media for this week, because this is Mamba Week here inside Snowman Digital Media. This is Mamba Week, okay?
Yep. That it is.
Kobe was only 41.
Yep.
41.
Crazy.
He was just getting started in his retirement.
Mm-hmm.
He had the Mamba Academy. Yep. He had a wonderful. I can't believe I'm saying had. I can't believe that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. That's rough. Listen.
Yeah.
Let me say this, and I'm gonna hush after this right here. But you hear the old saying, "Give me my flowers while I'm living."
Yes.
You heard that old statement?
Yes, sir.
That's exactly what he got to do. People were able to give him his flowers while he was living. When he went his last season in the NBA, he got the last tour, or whatever they call that, when they do the last year. And so they gave him his flowers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So give people their flowers while they're living. There's so many lessons to be taught in this tragedy. But give me my flowers while I'm still here. I can enjoy them and smell them.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make a difference to if you give me a bunch of flowers and laying beside my casket. I can't enjoy those.
Mm-hmm.
So he got his, and LA is showing out. I don't know if you saw that picture of.
Oh, I saw.
I think it was in front of the Staples Center.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. The only thing.
That's life, y'all.
The only thing that will top that will be all the fans that'll be in front of the United Center, and I don't even have to put a name to that.
Yep.
And I don't think.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Terry Little, the man in charge of the Common Sense Show TV. I wish this was under better circumstances, and it will be next week when we do the full interview, when we do the full 30 minutes.
Absolutely.
But thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it.
Man. Yes, sir. And you have a great one.
More on our tributes to Kobe Bryant in a flash. We continue our tribute to Kobe Bryant, and it's going to be continuing throughout the course of the week. Radio hostess extraordinaire Pamela Michelle now joins me. How are you?
I wish I could say that we were talking on, better circumstances, but for the most part, just trying to hold things together.
Your thoughts when the news came down?
I had no words, which, if you know me, is a huge deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a huge deal if you know me, for me to not have any words. It's so much more than a sports tragedy. It's a tragedy, period, because his daughter, and those other passengers.
Yes.
I saw the greatest clip as I was scrolling through a lot of the tribute, and there was, every time Kobe was interviewed, he was always calculating. He was always intense. He knew what he wanted to convey. He knew what message he wanted to get across.
Mm-hmm.
It was very rare to find him just talking just to talk.
Right.
He was cerebral. And there was this really great clip of him talking about his daughter and saying how when he is in public and fans go up to him and they say, hey, you know, you and Z have to have a boy, like you have to have a boy to carry on your legacy.
Mm-hmm.
And his daughter Gianna's standing there and she's like, he doesn't need any boy. I got this. Like, I got this.
I love that.
And
I love it.
yeah, it was the greatest. It was such a great clip because he was so relaxed. And I believe it was Fallon, I want to say, that it was on, and they were asking him if his daughter had any intentions of playing in the NBA, like the WNBA.
Right.
And he said absolutely, she definitely did. And that's when he started telling the story about fans coming up to him saying, oh, you need a boy to carry on your legacy. And his daughter's like, no, he doesn't. I got this. We don't need no boy for that. I got this. And it was just the sweetest story to see him so in that like proud father type of mode. And it was sweet and just really pulled so much more of why this is tragic.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even imagine what his wife must be going through right now, losing him, losing her daughter. This is more than a sports tragedy. This is a family tragedy.
It really is. It really is. And anyone who's listened to this show, especially in the past 4 years, knows I had a daughter. I've lost her. It's the toughest thing to go through. Period.
Yeah. It is, especially with her being at such, I mean, the age of 13, she was just starting to become a woman. She was just starting to find herself. She was just starting her really to embrace the woman that she wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And, you know, knowing that she really wanted to try to carry on her dad's legacy through the game of basketball was just, it was beyond. It really was. I mean, just the clips of them sitting next to each other, joking, smiling.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't realize that I don't know if people realize like how intellectual Kobe Bryant actually was.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just so much more than the game of basketball. He was really an ambassador for the sport.
Yes.
Really embraced it. And this might get me into trouble and I don't care, but like what the Lake Show was very special and nobody thought anything was going to be that special again in LA.
Right.
And then King Kobe.
Yep. So. I totally agree. I totally agree. And you know me well enough to know that if I'm out of words, then something really has hit me hard. This is one that has hit me really, really hard. It's shocking. I wanted to not believe that it was real. I saw quite a few of my, colleagues and people that work at ESPN tweeting that was real. When Wojo tweets it, then you know that it definitely has substance when he's tweeting something like that. Somebody said, is there a credible source other than TMZ? And that kind of blew my mind because whatever you think about TMZ, they may be a lot of things, but stuff like this, they're on top of. Yeah,
so that
they
wasn't even thought in my mind that, oh, well, TMZ is tweeting it, so it can't be real. When TMZ is tweeting it, you kind of know it is.
Yeah.
With stuff like this.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
It's exactly what they do, and I didn't want to believe it. When the word came down, I didn't want to believe it. And someone had brought it to me. Someone brought it to me at work, and he looked at me and he said, "I just heard something real messed up." And I said, "What's that?" He said, "Kobe Bryant has died." I said, "Stop kidding around." And then about 30 seconds later, someone shows me an article from the New York Post. And confirmed it through TMZ, confirmed it through ESPN, and everyone at work, basketball fan or not, to hammer your point home of it being more than basketball, everyone at work, fan or not, was talking about this news. This is beyond devastating.
Yeah. he was so young, only 41 years old, and he lived a majority of his life in the public eye.
He did.
And I mean, when you think about how long he's been around, how he's been a household name for so long, and how many people he influenced, and LeBron had recently had just told a great story where when he was in high school, Kobe actually had gone to see him, gave him some words of encouragement, gave him some words of wisdom, and he actually gave him a pair of shoes. And Kobe's foot was a size smaller, but LeBron said he didn't care. And he stuffed his feet into those shoes. And that night, his high school basketball team played against Carmelo Anthony's basketball team.
Yeah. Stories like that you remember. Stories like that you remember.
And that's what we're going to be hearing over the next couple months. And, for quite some time are a lot of stories, some that are going to be very familiar, where even though you heard them, sometimes you just can't get enough of hearing them. And there are going to be others where we're going to hear them and just tear up all over again.
Like I'm about to do now. Hostess extraordinaire Pamela Michelle joining me in our tribute to, I can't believe I'm saying tribute, our tribute to Kobe Bryant. Thanks a lot, my dear. Appreciate the time.
You're welcome. No problem. Try to have a good night.
More coming up after this.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
I like him. He's silly.
Hey, folks, welcome back to the program. Please do not forget to follow us on our social media. The ID you need is SITM 9 to noon. That's SITM, the number 9, TONOON. And also, please do not forget to follow the brand new Snowman Digital Media. That's where all of my programs are housed and distributed across different networks. Speaking of shows, I had a chance to talk with the young man I have on the hotline right now, and we shared some laughs, we shared some teams, and this is one half of NAN Sports Talk. This is Nolan Chislett, and he joins me right now. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good.
Where are you located?
I'm actually in St. Petersburg, Florida.
St. Petersburg. Is Tropicana Field that bad? Because I've heard some horrible stories about it. Talk to me about the Trop.
But you know what? I've only been to the Trop a couple times. I've actually never been to any other baseball field. So I couldn't actually tell you like what to relate it to, because I went to one like spring field over in like Lakeland, you know, when they were doing spring training. So I don't really have any real experience with stuff like that. But I guess you could say they could probably re-renovate it or something like that. That wouldn't be far off from that.
Because that catwalk gives up so many cheap home runs. You know, all you have to do is, if you're a good power hitter, i.e. Prince Fielder, all you got to do is swing for the catwalk a couple times, and you got a 2-homer game before you can blink. Tell me about the NAN podcast, because you briefly told me about it, and I become a fan of great podcasts, and I feel yours to be one. So tell me how that got started.
Get it. So my name's Nolan. Obviously, my brother's name is Nick, so it stands for Nick and Nolan Sports Talk. You know what? It's really funny. A couple years ago, we were both unemployed. And I just hit him up one day. I was like, "Hey, do you want to start a podcast?" and that's how it started.
Oh, sweet! I love it.
So we've been doing that for a little over a year now. So this would be our second year doing it. So our first year doing it, we were doing it continuously. We did it for almost the whole NFL season. And then we kind of fell off a little bit, and we were like, we got a little burned out because we were commuting to each other to record the shows. We were doing it live.
Right.
So that was like a 3-hour commute every night that we decided to do it. And so after a while, we were just like getting busy and then things like that. So we put it on a little hiatus for a little bit. Then we picked it back up this year and started recording them, over like Skype and things of that nature.
Has it been easier? Has it been easier recording off Skype?
Yeah, it's easier. I think we've been kind of switching around to find out what our new home is going to be. So right now we're using Discord. We may keep using Discord. We may switch to something else. We're not exactly sure yet, but wherever.
So talk to me about Discord.
So Discord's more of a, I guess you could say it's kind of like a gaming chat platform. Does that make sense? Yeah, so it's more of a gaming chat platform, but you can have a server on there. You can, do, video recordings, so on and so forth. Okay. So the positive of it is that the sound quality usually comes back a little bit better, as well as, whenever we put out not a video, but whenever we take the audio file away, it typically is condensed into a smaller file.
Right.
The issue is that it doesn't have like a recording feature within the app. So one of us is just recording like the screen. Okay. And the issue comes with that is if one of us starts lagging, well, you just lost all that audio.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times in 6 years I've struggled with audio, but now I found a pretty good fit for my audio. I want to add video, but at the same time, I want to be sure that my video feed is on point, because when I was doing video earlier in the year, there were a couple of times it was lagging, and my wife would alert me that it was lagging. So I want to be sure I get a very good connection, And I'm with Nolan Chislett. We're talking shop about podcasts and about sports. Now, you informed me before we went on that you're a Cowboy fan.
Truthfully, yes.
How is the suffering among Cowboy fans? Because I know a few of them, and they're realists, okay? But they always have that one piece of hope that things would go well. So I want to take you back to Week 17 when you guys took care of the Redskins, but then you had to watch the scoreboard and see Philadelphia take care of the Giants. How much suffering is going on with Cowboy Nation right now? And not just right now, but within the whole Jason Garrett era.
Well, you know what? That suffering has ended. We're rejoicing. Jason Garrett not only got fired by us, but now he's going over to New York. Let me just explain to you what's going to happen. Let me explain to you what's going to happen real quick.
Okay.
This is all a good plan here. Jason Garrett's going over to the New York Giants. We're never going to lose to the Giants again. But on top of that, he's loyal to the Cowboys. So he's going to beat the snot out of the Eagles every year. So now we're going to make the playoffs for at least a good 8 years running. You know what I'm saying? So I think we got a good chance.
You do realize there's a movie called Any Given Sunday. You do realize that, don't you? You
absolutely.
Yes, you realize there's a saying called Any Given Sunday. You do. I told this man I'd pick on him while on the air, but people have picked on me for the past 5 years because my team has been the 49ers. And I miss the days when the Cowboys and the 49ers would hook up for an NFC championship game, because those were some epic games.
For sure.
Now, you have a basketball team that you follow?
I don't follow it like because my thing is I'm a simple guy. So 17 games a year, that's doable. And then when you start getting into like the 80s and stuff like that, I am a true fan when it comes to basketball because I am a huge Orlando Magic fan.
Okay.
But I like to usually wait till later in the season before I start like watching more and more games.
Understood.
Because it's really hard to follow.
So were you around when they first came into the league in '89?
I wasn't even born yet.
Oh my goodness. So you've basically been around since they opened the Amway Center, or the
Probably.
tail end of Amway Arena. So what do you follow football the most?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm all through and through.
So now I get to tease you again and say, how about those 49ers?
Oh man, it's going to be really rough though. I mean, they're going to lose to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. So
No, they're not.
I mean, I don't know. It'll all follow through with itself.
You realize Frisco ain't losing to the Chiefs, not with that defense.
I don't know, man. Chiefs can score 5 different ways. So if they come out and they play a full game,
and we'll stop them 6 different ways. It'll be fun. It'll be fun to see. Of the sporting events you've attended in person, which one was your favorite? Or favorites? Let me go ahead and pluralize that word. Favorites.
I love going to hockey events live.
Oh,
That's
nice.
probably. I think hockey's probably by far my favorite to go to watch live.
You got a team that you follow?
The Lightning, baby.
So now I get to tease you again and say, remember 2015.
But I could also say, remember 2004, but that's fine.
True. This is true. This is true. Lightning did win in 2004. It took until the final excruciating seconds, and I will selfishly say I do have a copy of that radio call, which was very exciting to me. So what made you get into sportscasting? What took you down the road to get into sportscasting?
Well, I've always been an athlete for a majority of my life, so I've always been into sports. I actually went on to play college football at a small school up in Northwest Georgia.
Okay.
So I've always had like a pretty analytical outlook of a lot of sports, so on and so forth. And overall, it's just I find sports to be just super entertaining. So it's just one of those things where I enjoy the camaraderie, however you said that word, of just being able to enjoy such an event. You know what I'm saying? And just be able to hang out and watch people beat the snot out of each other too. So that's cool.
Have you ever had a moment on air where a word slipped out that shouldn't have?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago.
What happened? Talk to me about it. What happened?
So, we were trying to prep ourselves for, going on radio and everything like that. And of course, the one word was, don't drop any more F-bombs. So,
oh, no.
Basically, the context of it was we were talking about baseball. We were talking about how the Astros were caught cheating.
Yes.
With the whole trash can incident. And so my question was because I don't really follow baseball that much. I'm not actually a big baseball fan.
All right.
So I asked Nick, I said, well, listen, how bad are these guys beating everybody? Because if it's like, maybe if it's only by like a run or two, okay, well, maybe it didn't make that big of a difference, right? Or maybe if it, was more than that, So when I said it though, I was like, I said, well, maybe it's not that big of an effing difference or something like that. And I was like, ooh. And I literally just said right then and there, make sure you edit that out. Well, the problem came was whenever all of our audio was uploaded, we couldn't find it again.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So it got the F-bomb being dropped on there, plus the part where I go, hey, edit that out. And then I just kept going.
And you kept the tape rolling?
Yeah, we just gotta double down, man. That's my rule for life. You gotta double down.
Here's one. When I was at Chicago State University, I was selected to play the part of the Shadow. We were doing an old school radio program, and I was picked to voice the main character. Well, it got to the final read, and I've never told this story on the show. I've only told like certain people within my circle. It got to the final read. It got to the final read, and I'm up there. I'm rehearsing, and it came to my line, and the line was "Beasts of Prey." Well, I kind of misread it, and the word breasts came out, and I had the whole class in an uproar. And I didn't realize what I said until my professor pointed it out to me after he stopped crying from laughing.
I get that. I've been there before. I was in a Bible class when I was young, and I was at a Bible camp or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And we were reading Songs of Solomon. I don't know if you were familiar with the Bible, but Songs of Solomon is pretty spicy.
Oh no!
Yeah. Well, I saw pomegranate, and I read pornographic instead. I don't know why I did it. I just kind of glanced at it, and I was like, "Her hair smells like pornographic." And then everybody just looked at me like, "Dude, what did you just say?"
Here's one. I was doing a basketball game up in Chicago. I was doing the Proviso West tournament, and I got there late. My broadcast partner had already set everything up, and the first game we're doing goes to double overtime. And the phrase I commonly use when I do basketball is "eat some clock." Well, my partner, yeah, you know where this is going. Well, my partner wanted to express the same thing, and it was his very first call on the air. And he wanted to say, "eat some clock," and the L in clock came up missing.
Mm-hmm.
And I busted out laughing. We're live on the air now. I busted out laughing. The poor guy was so embarrassed, and I know how he feels. He starts laughing. As soon as the game's over, he drops his headset, and I pulled him aside and I consoled him. I said, "Look, it's okay. It's okay. We got 7 more games for the day," and he's gone. He's just cracking up laughing. I'm laughing with him, and he looked at me all of a sudden, and he's so embarrassed, and he goes, "I did not mean for that to slip up in front of you." I looked at this young man and I said, "Do you know how many times I've slipped on the air, especially live?" And the whole crew starts laughing.
That's hilarious.
The whole crew starts laughing. Nolan Chislett and I sharing stories about messing up on the air, and this is a real good one. I did a football game in Chicago in Gately Stadium, and there was no heat inside the press box. And we go to double overtime in that game, and I'm shivering. I have only my winter coat with me. There's no blanket. There's no heater. And I thought we had gone to a break. And I said, "Will somebody please bring a blanking heater in here?" And I didn't realize we were still on.
Oh, man. You know, I feel like it's more understandable at that point, though. Mm-hmm. You know, someone hears that and is like, "I bet it's really cold right there."
Yeah, yeah. One of the parents stopped me later, and she was laughing. She says, "Did you really say what you said about the heater?" And I didn't realize until she brought it up to me, and I said, "I am cold, and I'm going to my car. I'm freezing." So, give me your thoughts on this year's NFL playoffs.
Exciting, man. I mean, you know, I love it. I love seeing when like underdog teams come out, and you know, AFC wise, this is the first year the AFC Championship hasn't had Brady, Manning, or who's the other one? Brady, Manning, or
Roethlisberger.
Yeah, Roethlisberger for like the first time in like 20 years or something crazy like that. So I love that. You know, I love seeing the fact that the Titans came in at like 9-7 and they made a run, and you know the Chiefs. You know, my brother's actually a huge Chiefs fan, and you know, for him, I remember about like week 5, week 6 after like Mahomes got hurt, he was at a point where he was just like, all right, we'll just throw the whole season away at this point. Yeah. Now look at him. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, I had the same thoughts about the Chiefs. I thought their season was done, and Mahomes but Matt Moore keeps the ship steady. Mahomes comes back, and they're in the Super Bowl. So they're playing some fantastic football right now. On the other side, I said in April, and I more said it out of heart than anything else, that the 49ers were going to the Super Bowl. Do you know how many people thought I was nuts when I said that?
What was the 49ers record at the end of last year? It wasn't too.
They were 4-12.
Oof.
And now they're 13-3. And I'll never forget, I watched a program on NFL Network where they were predicting the 49ers record. They said 3-13.
I remember that. So I assume you probably predicted the season and everything. What was your biggest fail this year on who you predicted to be good and was bad?
Actually, I have two. One being the Chicago Bears, and the other, strangely enough, being the Dallas Cowboys. I didn't think the Cowboys had enough defensively to carry them to another double-digit win season. And they kept getting burned, especially in the secondary. So the secondary is going to be an issue for them. What about you? What do you think was the biggest failure this year?
I had the Detroit Lions winning the NFC North.
Really?
Because I saw a lot of potential there. I mean, they did pretty well last year.
Right.
They had pretty much the same team coming into this year, and the next. You know, oh boy.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny because they had a chance. They were pretty much like a play or two away from being like 4-0 at the beginning of the season.
True.
And then next thing you know, I mean, from there, I mean, it just went downhill.
They did. And it's so sad that they went downhill. Do you think the Lions move on from Matt Stafford, or do they try again with him next year?
You know, I really just don't think it's Matt Stafford. I think it's a lot more than that, you know.
So what's missing? What's missing for them? What's missing for them offensively, you think?
Management.
You know what? That's what I say. That management needs to change.
Calvin Johnson came out and said that he was kind of talking about it and everything. He said that one of the times he was there, the general manager was just like a friend of the coach or of the owner or something like that. The guy had no previous experience, and they just like threw him in there. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, you know what? Detroit Lions football literally resembles like the city of Detroit when it comes to like,
it's true.
You know, the personal interest aspect. It's like, that's crazy.
And it's, the Lions fans are like Knicks fans in so many ways because they're so apathetic about their team. It's like, whatever. And the management doesn't see that. And that's sad.
Yeah, it is. Definitely is. I mean, they're definitely one of those teams that needs to make it to the Super Bowl and win.
Yeah, getting there is one thing. Winning is another. But first, the Lions have to get there. They haven't appeared in
Yeah.
an NFC Championship game since, I want to get this right, 1991, when they lost to the Washington Redskins. So they got a lot of humps to clear before they even think about a Super Bowl. Nolan Chislett joining me here on the program, talking all things sports bloopers that he and I have done, and the NAN Sports Talk podcast. Tell everybody where they can find you, my friend.
nansportstalk.libsyn, that's LIBSYN.com. You can find us on Facebook, NAN Sports Talk, Instagram, Twitter. We even got a TikTok.
Someone suggested that I do a TikTok for my show. I just may follow that suggestion. Nolan Chislett joining me. Thanks a lot, my friend.
No, thank you.
More coming up after this. Now let me welcome another good friend of mine by the name of William Morgan as we continue our tribute to Kobe and our basketball discussion in general. We'll get to our basketball discussion in just a moment, but first and foremost, my friend, your thoughts on this devastating news about Kobe Bryant.
It really hurts. It hurts me because he's definitely one of the all-time greats who's ever played the game. He wore his heart on his sleeve. He believed in hard work. If you wasn't going to work hard, he didn't want you out there on the floor with them, and I respect that. In terms of accomplishments, the man's a champion, multi-time champion, multiple-time All-Star. It really hurts. He also got a lot of players of today playing ball, be it the LeBron Jameses and so forth. Just a hard, devastating day. And then you come to find out that his daughter was in the helicopter with him.
Mm-hmm.
Just a hard day. Whew, man, it's tough.
So let's talk some basketball, some old school basketball, and do him some honor. We had planned this conversation a couple days ago because, quite frankly, I am sick and tired of people telling folks like you and me that we don't know our hoops.
Yes.
So I'll begin with this. This. Can we please disband the Oklahoma City Thunder and bring a team back to Seattle? Because Seattle got... look, if we're going to pay tribute to Kobe Bryant, who was one of the last of the old schoolers, we're going to do this the right way with that electric smile of his. Can we please have the Seattle Supersonics back?
I agree. Being from the area in Deering, Washington, I agree.
Can we please have the Seattle Supersonics?
Yes.
Please.
I agree. I'm there with you.
I was just talking to my wife, and she says she hasn't watched basketball in a while, and then the news about Kobe hit, and she said something that you and I both have echoed. Kobe Bryant, as well as the rest of the old schoolers you and I grew up watching, play with a passion.
Exactly. And, I'm glad you said that, because that's what makes people stand out. Is that no matter what your field is. I'm gonna bring up a couple of contemporaries while in this. Renee Washington, a young lady who I did fantasy football for this past season. when you see her out there, whether she's doing her own show, whether she's sideline reporting, you see not only her preparation, but you see that energy out there.
Absolutely.
You can tell she really wants to be there. I'll bring up another young lady. I don't know her personally, but we're Facebook friends, and we've gone back and forth on Facebook a little bit. Chelsea Nicole Nelson.
Oh,
it's another young lady.
She's delightful.
Yes.
She's a delight.
Yes. And the thing about it, the energy that they give to what they do, you see it.
Oh, yeah.
And that is what makes people different from others, is the fact they have the energy, they want to be there, and they project that energy out. And that energy is contagious, and it makes other people want to be there and step up to their level. So, yeah, I'm glad you said that. Because
and you saw it with Kobe for 20 seasons.
Yep.
You saw it with Kobe for 20 years. And you and I have had discussions about a certain player that likes wearing number 23 now, and he didn't originate wearing the number 23. I'm going all the way there. If we're gonna have fun with this and have some smiles like that big smile Kobe always wore for 20 years when he played hoops, then let's go all the way there.
Yes, sir.
It goes like this. Someone told me that LBJ was the greatest forward to ever play the game. Hell, let's go one step further. Ryan Hollins on First Take said LBJ was the greatest player ever, and Shaq shut him down by mentioning MJ and Kobe. Let's start with the forward spot, shall we? Because I can throw some old school forwards out there that did a lot more than he has done. And I know if I got a name in my head right now of a fellow who played the same way, bowled his way to the basket, didn't travel, by the way, and also and he also hit his free throws. Does the name Adrian Dantley mean anything to you?
Oh, Adrian! Oh my goodness! A little undersized, but the man can play. Oh my goodness, the man can play.
Does the name Adrian Dantley mean anything to you?
Yes.
Does the name Alex English mean anything to you? How about if we can just go with just forwards, how about the legendary Charles Barkley?
Yep, exactly.
Somebody that's undersized and played the hell out of the forward position, there you go. How about James Worthy?
Yep. Big game James.
How about James Worthy?
Yep,
okay.
Big game James.
Big game James, and he was called Big Game James for a reason. You want to talk about forwards who actually played their position, aside of all those names I just mentioned, you should recognize this next one. How about Scottie Pippen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How about Scottie Pippen? Okay?
You got no. Let me tell you. You got no better than Scottie because of the fact with Scottie, he played ball on both ends.
He did.
He played, and when you go back and you look at the first Bulls championship, he was the one that kept. I'm not gonna say he completely stopped Magic Johnson,
but he
kept
slowed
Magic
him down.
Johnson in check. Yep.
He slowed him down.
Yep.
He slowed him down. How about you want? How about a couple? How about some more? How about some more old school forwards? Since we're talking Lakers, Kobe, this is for you. He played with this guy. How about AC Green?
Another AC Green, boy. How
about Mark Aguirre?
Him too. Yep.
How about?
He was a bad ball for the Pistons.
How about Dominique Wilkins? You want to talk about a smooth forward? There you go.
You know what? You know what? I'm still mad because it's very gay at Lenny Wilkins.
Yeah.
Because, see, Lenny had a flaw. Lenny put a lot of personal into his team and Rosh's decision.
Right.
He didn't like Dominique because Dominique went to the club.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted somebody who went to church, which is nothing wrong with that.
No.
But I'm not sure if I'm going to have a basketball team based on that. How do you trade Dominique Wilkins for Danny Manning? Not only did you do that, but you couldn't even find Danny Manning to stay.
Mm-mm. Danny Manning wasn't having that.
Yeah. Craziness, man.
You want a forward that's done a lot more than LBJ? I interviewed this next guy, Cliff Levingston.
Yep. This is good.
This is good. I interviewed Cliff Levingston. All right?
This is good. Mm-hmm.
And do we dare bring up Tim Duncan?
Best power forward in the game.
Do we dare bring up a guy who spent most of his career as a center but played a forward for a while? Do we dare bring up Akeem Olajuwon?
The LeBron haters, the LeBron folks don't want to bring him up.
They don't want to bring. They don't want to bring him up. They really don't want to bring him up. Okay,
they don't want to bring him up.
Let's go all the way there. All right, let's go. Mm-hmm. How about some more old school? How about this name, Bernard King?
Yes, Bernard. Oh my goodness. Oh, Bernard, man.
And we're talking just gold. And folks, dude, we're just talking golden era only from 1979 to 1998. How about this name? And I'm going to put the biggest smile on my wife's face when I say Larry Bird.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell, you can make an argument. You can make an argument that at one point in time he was the best player in basketball.
Yep.
At one point, you can make that argument.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now we're talking about folks that can. We are talking about forwards that can also shoot. I'm going to put another smile on my wife's face when I say this. When I say this name, talking about shooters, Reggie Miller.
Yep. Yep.
Reggie Miller spent his entire 18-year career with the Indiana Pacers. He closed out Market Square Arena and opened up what was then at the time Conseco Fieldhouse. It's now Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
Sure did.
Speaking of the Pacers, since we're talking old school, let's take positions out of the equation. Speaking of the Pacers, Rick Smits. Remember him?
Yep. Love Rick. Love Rick.
And speaking of forwards, speaking of Pacer forwards, I'll go back to 1991. Chuck Person.
I remember Chuck. University of Auburn. I remember Chuck.
Chuck Person, Reggie Miller, Rick Smits, Vern Fleming was their point guard for a while.
Mm-hmm. He was.
And I remember him as a Bulls fan, because Reggie Miller and Vern Fleming back in the late 80s used to give us fits.
Yep.
But I loved watching him play.
Yep.
It's one of those.
Yep.
It's one of those kind of. You hate seeing them play against your team, but you love seeing them play. That describes my love-hate relationship with the Boston Celtics because of Larry Bird. With the Lakers, you know that squad, the Showtime Lakers. Mention the Indiana Pacers, Reggie Miller, Vern Fleming, Rick Smits, and Rick Smits was something else. Okay.
Yep.
We're doing this in honor of Kobe Bryant, folks. A horrible helicopter crash took he and his daughter's life, but we're pumping life back into the situation, talking some good basketball, because Kobe ushered in not one but two eras, three if you count the Splash Brothers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
3 if you count the Splash Brothers. Okay?
Yep.
I mentioned the Seattle Supersonics. There were 2 forwards on that team that I loved seeing play together. Xavier McDaniel.
I love Xavier.
And Tom Chambers.
Yep.
And Tom Chambers is so underrated, it's not even funny.
And Xavier McDaniel was the dude that was the muscle.
Yep, that he was.
He was the muscle. Mm-hmm. He was the muscle for that team.
He was the muscle.
Yep.
He was the muscle for Seattle, and then later became the muscle for New York. Speaking of forwards, Charles Oakley. How about that?
I love Charles Oakley back in the day. I was just mad that we traded him for Bill Cartwright. I get it.
Yeah.
The Bulls needed a center at the time, but I don't. Wish you could have kept him.
I wish we could have kept him too, but I believe it would have stunted the Bulls' growth. I understand why they traded him, but I love Charles Oakley.
I do too.
But I do understand why they made the move, and why it paid off.
And plus, too, if they would have kept Charles, they probably would have never drafted Horace Grant.
This is true. And Horace and Scotty would have never meshed, or never gotten a chance. Speaking of forwards, why did I not mention this name? He finished his career as a guard, but he was a forward for most of his career. How could I forget Julius Erving?
Yeah. He started out as a small forward, but he ended up as guard. You're right.
He finished his career as a guard, but he was a forward for many years.
I'm gonna tell you another name. And this dude is underrated too.
Hit me.
You remember Reggie Theus?
Oh my God, yes. Out of UNLV.
Yep.
Speaking of which,
people
I got another one. He spent some time in Sacramento. He finished his career in Indiana. LaSalle Thompson.
Yeah. I brings back the days.
LaSalle Thompson.
I still have his basketball card somewhere around here.
Nice. Here's a forward that Kobe played with. This is Kobe. This is for you. Here's a forward that Kobe played with that I loved watching him mesh together with, Pau Gasol.
Yep. Love Paul, big man that can shoot, rebound, bring the ball up a little bit. I like Paul Gasol.
Yeah.
Yep.
But since we're
I don't like the way they got.
Yeah.
I don't like the way the Lakers got him. Box of cookies and Kwame Brown. What other than that?
God. Kwame Brown. Let's move on. I mentioned. Let's move on. We're doing this for laughs because Kobe loved to laugh, so that's how we're tying all this in. I mentioned bring back the Seattle Supersonics and disband the Thunder. Can we? I'm going to get some pushback for this. But can we also, just for name's sake only, can we also have a Washington Bullets? I understand. Now, I say that with a preface. I understand why they changed the name. At the time they changed the name because there was a lot of violence going on. I get that. I understand that. But didn't Washington Bullets just roll off the tongue?
It sounded better than the Wizards, and it gave them a little bit of toughness too.
Yes.
Now you look at them and it's like, duh. I love Bradley Beal. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
I love
absolutely.
John Wall. I love John Wall when he's healthy.
Yeah,
when he's healthy.
When he's healthy.
He's very good.
That's the problem.
When he's healthy, he's very good.
When he's healthy.
Yep.
But it was just something. It was just something about saying Washington Bullets. And I've been known on this program to mess up purposely instead of saying Washington Wizards, saying Washington Bullets.
it just gives an air of toughness that they don't have on the Wizards.
They don't. They really don't. Now let's move to let's talk some point guards, shall we? Because I know two that played on the same team for a year, and then one got traded. They kept the other. One of them is Mark Price. The other is Kevin Johnson.
Another Kevin Johnson. Move Kevin to Phoenix.
Yep. They were both members of the Cleveland Cavaliers for a while.
Yep, sure was.
They kept Price and they moved KJ, and it was the smartest move they did in moving KJ to Phoenix.
Yep, it was, because they helped Phoenix evolve at the time.
It did.
And while the Cavs stayed relevant as well. So yeah, that was a good move. Good move for both teams. And
Mark Price used to give us fits.
Bruh,
you know how Steph you know how Steph comes off those screens and just unleashes jump shots. Mark Price was doing it first. Okay.
Man, I hated Mark Price, and I hated Craig Elo because they both played. Oh, they played the most consistent ball I have ever seen in my life. I hated those guys. Oh.
In the late 80s, anybody that was a Bulls fan in the late 80s, we hated going to Detroit. We hated going to Cleveland. In many ways, we hated going to Indiana because they had more talent than us at the time. And talking about the late 80s.
Yep.
You know what? Mark Price used to kill us. Mark Price used to kill us. And you know my favorite basketball announcer was that of Jim Durham. I remember one school night I got a chance to watch the Bulls play the Cleveland Cavaliers at the Richfield Coliseum. How's that for old school? The Richfield Coliseum. And I remember this sequence by Jim Durham. John Paxson had just split a pair of free throws. It was we were down 6. And I remember listening, and I'm doing some homework, and I hear Harper on the move around a Nance screen. Price launches a 3. Good from the right side. This game is over. And I turned off the radio. I turned off the radio.
What?
As soon as I hear Jim Durham say Price launches a 3, I turned off the radio because you knew it was in.
Yep. Very good shooter. Very good ball handler.
Yes.
Can shoot from almost any spot on the floor. He wasn't the best defender, but at least he did try to play defense. And, you know, at the end of the day, you had to respect the man because he brought it every game.
He did. He did.
He didn't get a chance to go to the championship, but still a very good player, and definitely worth tonight being the star of this old school special.
And you want to hear some more old school point guards? How about John Stockton?
Woo!
How about Pistol Pete Maravich?
Yep.
How about Dennis Johnson?
I'm gonna tell you, I love the rivalry when you saw Golden State and Utah play Tim Hardaway versus John Stockton. I love that little rivalry.
Tim Hardaway, another one. Tim Hardaway.
Yep.
One of the original Warriors when I was growing up watching.
That UTEP two-step wasn't no joke, boy.
No, it wasn't. And Kevin Johnson was no joke with Phoenix.
He wasn't. He really wasn't. He helped that team. If it wasn't for Michael Jordan, I think that Phoenix team would have won a title. I really do. That Phoenix team was talented. That's when you had KJ,
Barkley.
And I really think they would have won a title.
Yep. That, which brings to mind a quote from one Chauncey Billups. There's a guard for you. Chauncey Billups. Mr. Big Shot himself.
tough nose. Wasn't scared of the moment at all.
Was not frightened at all.
Wasn't the fastest point guard, but his game was never predicated off speed to begin with.
Nope.
Tough defender, just tough, hard-nosed player, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chauncey Billups said, and I'm paraphrasing, when Michael Jordan was in the league, nobody won a championship with him playing. When the Bulls rose to power in 1991, nobody won a championship on his watch. With LeBron, everybody's winning championships on his watch.
And don't forget, too, he couldn't guard little J.J. Barea either. He couldn't guard him.
Couldn't guard Jason
Terry.
Terry.
Was taking that boy. Little J.J. Barea.
He couldn't guard Jason Terry. And Jason Terry lit him up like a Christmas tree. Jason Terry lit him up.
Exactly.
That wouldn't happen that wouldn't happen with Kobe.
Nope.
Guarantee you that wouldn't happen with Kobe, because Kobe didn't play that.
Sure wouldn't.
Kobe would not play that at all.
Nope.
He wouldn't have that on his watch. That's one thing I loved about Kobe. One thing I love about MJ, Kobe, the other guys that we mentioned, they don't play that. They don't. They really don't. And you have to remember, when I speak of the golden era, 1979 to 1998, that's when you had the most all-stars come through that era. And nothing against what happened before that era. Nothing against it at all. I mean, hell, Bill Russell's the greatest winner. 11 championships.
11 titles. Mm-hmm.
Tom Heinsohn has 8.
Yep.
Okay? Robert Horry has 7. Okay, not Tom Heinsohn. Casey Jones has 8. Okay? A player and a coach. All right.
And a coach.
Bill Russell went out as a champion. He was a player coach, 1969.
Yep.
And he went out as a champion.
Bill Russell doesn't really get the due that he deserves.
He really doesn't. And I hate the fact that he doesn't. Magic Johnson said it best. And I'll never forget what Magic said. Michael Jordan is the greatest player. Bill Russell's the greatest winner.
There you go.
You can't make it any plainer than that. Because you got to admit, when we started watching basketball and Michael Jordan showed up in 1984, we got spoiled fast.
We did. Real fast.
We got
real fast.
We got spoiled. We got spoiled with the Showtime Lakers, Bird, McHale, and Robert Parrish. All right. Julius Erving, Maurice Cheeks, and Andrew Toney. And yes, I'm mentioning Andrew Toney in this conversation.
Ain't no wrong with that. They won that title.
And who doesn't how can you forget Andrew Toney on that 83 Sixer team that was coached by one of the best in Billy Cunningham?
Yep, exactly. That title they won was legit too.
Yeah, it was. Oh, you want a forward that's better than LeBron? That should be, and I believe he is in the Hall of Fame. How about from that 83 Sixer team? I'll throw this name at you, and I know I'm going to get a smile from you when I say his name, Bobby Jones.
Oh, I remember Bobby.
Number 24. That's for Kobe also, because Kobe wore 24. Number 24 for the 76ers, Bobby Jones.
Yep, I remember Bobby.
You can't go wrong with Bobby Jones, man.
You can't.
I mean,
of
course, There's some of the ones from the later stages. Mentioned Karl Malone from the Utah Jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Mentioned Bernard King.
Mm-hmm.
Spent time in Washington and in New York. How about this
Mm-hmm.
name? Former net turn Blazer Buck Williams.
But don't get the respect he deserves. He with him, Drexler, Porter, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Here's a forward that doesn't get the. Here's a forward that doesn't get the respect he deserves. How about Terry Cummings?
You know what? you got me on that one.
How about Terry Cummings?
Terry was good. He was really good. What he lacked, maybe in athleticism in his later years.
And he couldn't stay healthy. He couldn't stay healthy. That was the problem. I love Terry. I love Terry Cummings.
Yeah, when he was in his prime, he was really, really good.
Oh yeah,
really good.
Oh, here's a forward for you from those Bucks teams. Two of them, as a matter of fact. Do you remember a fellow by the name of Paul Pressey?
Yep, I remember Paul. Mm-hmm.
And how about Jack Sikma? Remember him?
Both of them. Mm-hmm.
And remember, Sikma was in Seattle for the longest time.
Yeah.
Sikma was in Seattle for the longest time. Then he got traded to Milwaukee.
Mm-hmm.
And the one thing he lacked in Seattle, he developed in Milwaukee, and that was a jump shot.
Yep.
Because how the hell can you explain him shooting threes later in his career? That extended his career by another 4 years because he could shoot.
Yep. That's what made AC Green so viable because he perfected that baseline jumper.
The baseline jumper, absolutely. That's what made James Worthy. That's what made James Worthy viable as well. He developed a jump shot. Alex English, he developed a jump shot.
Yep.
Mark Aguirre, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm talking old Mavericks and old Lakers and old Sonics as well, how about Sam Perkins?
Sam was good. Sam was good.
How about Sam Perkins? How about Robert Reed from the Rockets?
You don't went back. I don't went back. Oh my goodness, you don't went back to the days. Oh.
Robert Reed.
Oh man. Hit the
How many times have you seen Robert Reed hit that baseline jumper for Houston?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
How about Kevin McHale?
Oh, that's an automatic too. You put him on that low block, it's over.
It's over.
It's over.
It's over.
Shaq couldn't even stop him.
Nope.
Shaq couldn't even stop him.
Nope. Shaq couldn't even come up with a way to stop him. AC Green neither.
And the thing with Kevin McHale, he will always take an elbow for whatever arm so he can get that separation.
So he can get the separation. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they call it a torture chamber. That's why they call it a torture chamber. I wouldn't want to guard him.
Automatic too. You hit it, you put him on that next to low block or on that low block.
It's done.
Automatic too.
It's done. It's done.
Nobody.
Nope.
And I'm trying to go back. Barkley couldn't stop him. Mahorn could. Nobody.
Rick Mahorn. Thank you for that name, Rick Mahorn.
Rick Mahorn.
Even Mahorn couldn't stop him. If Mahorn couldn't stop him, it was done.
Nope. It was done. It was done. It was the reason why the Celtics was hard to beat back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of old school Celtics, the fellow that backed up Kevin McHale. Remember Fred Roberts?
Yep, I remember Fred. He had a few big games for him. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I remember that. He had some big games. He had some big games for the Celtics.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. And then he later played. Then he later played for the Bucks.
Yeah.
Then he later played for the Bucks.
Yep, he did.
We're having a great time.
Really going back.
We're having a great time
really
talking.
Going back to the game.
Yeah, we are. We're having a great time talking old school, paying our tribute to Kobe Bryant with some of the players that we mentioned. William Morgan, the host of the Sports Report, here with me. And while I'm thinking about it, since we're just jumping all over with different positions and different players, I don't even have to mention Michael Jordan.
Nah, you ain't got to mention him. Nah.
I don't have to mention the fellow who originated wearing number 23.
If you look at Michael, and I'm glad you brought him up because Kobe's game was patterned after him. Yes. Maybe not his personality or his mentality, but his game was patterned after Mike. And the one thing about Michael, everybody keeps saying the one knock against Michael was his assist totals. But the thing with me is you have to remember, you didn't want Michael Jordan bringing the ball up the floor. You had Scottie Pippen bringing the ball up the floor. So let's not forget that. And if you put that in context, Scottie would bring it up, give it to Michael, and then from that point forward, particularly when it was crunch time, Michael just took over. Mm-hmm. Just took over. And Michael was legit 6'6".
Yes. Yeah, Mike was 6'6". Scotty 6'7". What are you going to do against that pair? A little Kobe Bryant tribute. We go back to 2002, 2003. One of the greatest Kobe Bryant games I ever watched. They're playing the Dallas Mavericks, and they were down by 30. And this is courtesy of ESPN, the NBA, and the Lakers. This is the final sequence. And this is Mike Tirico on the call.
The Brian Shaw guy you normally wouldn't be concerned about, but he's hit 2 in a row, so you better be cognizant of where that veteran is. In Kobe's hands, 8 to go. Bryant's had an unbelievable quarter. He spins, he shoots. Lakers lead! Timeout time! 8.4 to go!
They won that game 105-103. There was a game winner, Mike Tirico on the call. Wow. This is what's missing in the NBA. Here it is again, folks.
Better be cognizant of where that veteran is. In Kobe's hands, 8 to go. Bryant's had an unbelievable quarter. He spins, he shoots. Lakers lead! Timeout time! 8.4 to go!
This is when the NBA changed for me. This season, 2002-2003. And I hate saying it like that because it just went down after that as far as I'm concerned. Am I saying the wrong thing here?
No, I don't think so. I just think the way kids after that point looked at the game changed. Mm-hmm. I think that when kids looked at the game, they looked at it from a superficial standpoint.
Right.
I want to be able to dunk. I want to be able to shoot the three. But the thing that wasn't so sexy for them to learn after that point, that generation had, was the fundamentals.
Right. Say that word again for me, please. Say that word again. Fundamentals. I'm sorry. Did you say fundamentals was missing in today's NBA?
Yes.
I've been saying that for years, and it's the truth. Matter of fact, let me go back to 2004 since we're paying tribute to Kobe with an old school conversation. This is Game 2, NBA World Championship Series 2004. Doc Rivers and Al Michaels on the call, clip courtesy of ABC and the NBA. Mm-hmm. Detroit 89, Lakers 86. We're at the Staples Center. 8 seconds left, clock running, and then this happened.
And everyone is paying attention to Kobe Bryant.
They start with Shaq. He gives it to Walton. Here comes Kobe.
Less than 5 from way outside. Got it! Oh, man! With 2.1.
And the Staples Center exploded.
You know what? A lot of these guys who were also calling the games needs to be respected too, because there's a few guys I like. I like Doc Rivers on the call.
Yeah, Doc Rivers was fantastic. Doc Rivers was fantastic.
I thought Mike Fratello wasn't bad either.
Oh, the Czar, the Telestrator. Can't go wrong with him. But like I said, I'm kind of spoiled.
Yeah.
I've been spoiled because the voice you're about to hear was the voice from my childhood when it came to watching and listening to the Chicago Bulls. We go back to 1987, and I know I'm dating myself here, but I don't care. Anyone who knows me, and I'm trying to get the clip up here, anyone who knows me or knows of me knows I love this voice.
Sports Arena. A sold-out L.A. Sports Arena as the Bulls visit the Los Angeles Clippers. Good evening, everyone. Jim Durham with Johnny Kerr here in Los Angeles. The Bulls trying to halt a
Jim Durham and Johnny Kerr.
They're coming off their sixth
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When it was Sports Vision.
Yep.
When it was Sports Vision, not Sports Channel, because Sports Channel hadn't migrated to Chicago yet. It was Sports Vision.
Yep. Exactly.
As a matter of fact, let me find a clip where Jim Durham called a Kobe Bryant shot. I think that would be fitting for us to close this segment. And if I find it, I'm going to set the table for you guys. The year was 2002. It was the Western Conference Finals between the Kings and the Lakers, and I'm going to have a Kings fan on here in a little bit. Yeah, you know the clip I'm going for.
Yep.
You know the clip I'm going for. You know the clip I'm. Let me see if I can find it. And I don't want the NBC clip. I want the clip where Jim Durham called it for ESPN Radio.
Ooh.
I want to find that clip. And I'm going to try my best to find it. Actually, Robert Horry hit that game winner. Kobe just set it up.
He just set it up for him.
Yeah,
it was Robert Horry, I believe.
There it is. Yeah, Robert Horry hit the game. Robert Horry hit the game-winning three. Why am I thinking Kobe? Why am I thinking Kobe Bryant hit it? Because Kobe set him up. Because Kobe set him up. That's why. I think this is the NBC call. We're gonna find out here in a moment. William Morgan. 7
seconds. Bryant putting a move on Christie. Rebound O'Neal. Yeah. I'll have to find it another time. I gotta let you go. I got some more guests coming on here, but William Morgan joining me as we pay homage to Kobe Bean Bryant with a lot of old school conversation. Y'all will hear this on my NBA podcast as well, and you'll hear this conversation in its entirety. Man, I cannot, for such a horrible circumstance as the NBA world losing one Kobe Bryant, I cannot thank you enough for coming on and talking some old school sports, some old school NBA, paying homage to Kobe and paying homage to the old school. I can't thank you enough for coming on, my friend. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Anytime. Rest in peace, Kobe. Rest in peace.
We got more after this.
Welcome back. We are doing our what's going to wind up being a week-long tribute to Kobe Bryant, and I had William Morgan on. We mentioned a lot of old school names in his honor and talked some basketball. I now welcome Cole Johnson, the man in charge of Cole Sports, and I give you the floor first, my friend.
Yeah, well, where to begin? I mean, the dude was a basketball ingenue. I mean, we saw his greatness, his boldness, all the way back to, the 1997 playoffs, 98 playoffs, I'm sorry, when he shot those air balls and people were teasing him, but it was more of a lesson for him. And it's like, oh, okay, I get it. And then we saw his dogmatic personality and temperament just permeate the rest of his career. And he just had this will of, you just aren't going to outwork me. And I mean, things about him were legendary. The fact that, people would think that they would be at the gym like 5 a.m. and they would get there and the dude is dripping in sweat because he's already worked out for 2 hours.
Yep.
Or the fact that he would just do shot after shot after shot and work on his game every single year and work at different parts of his game.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what, if it was playoff disaster in the field or drama with the team or his rape trial in Colorado, he had this persevering spirit. He just persevered, and no matter what, it just always shone through. And then when he retired 4 years back, we got a chance to see the man behind the maniacal focus that he had. That this guy had a sense of humor, and he was reflective, and he was sensitive.
Yeah.
And then we hear what we hear today, on Sunday, and man,
it hurts.
It hurts a lot. I mean, this dude hasn't even got a chance to be in the Hall of Fame yet. I mean, it was a foregone conclusion, but I was waiting for it. And he would have been available to be in the Hall of Fame next year, and I was looking forward to that speech.
So was I.
Now we won't.
I looked forward to Michael's speech, Magic Johnson. I looked forward to Kobe's speech for the Hall of Fame, and now it won't even happen. This is so heartbreaking. I mean, you mentioned the perfect term, maniacal focus, and it was maniacal, but you saw him off the floor after he retired, and that weight was lifted off of his back. And you saw how he and Shaquille O'Neal, and I'm so happy for this, made up in a 40-minute interview, and I watched every minute of that interview, and I saw tears were flowing because these were two brothers in battle.
Yeah, I saw that same interview too, and it was, it was interesting how he not be the guy then.
Yes,
but the telling story was after they won their first championship in 2000, Shaq was like, look, I had the idea of, well, not idea, I had the mentality of I can just go ahead and rest. And he said, and that just pissed me off. Because his mindset was, I want to crush everybody at all times.
Yep.
I don't care if it's July. I don't care if this is the off season. I want us to be focused on the next championship if it's not this one. starting the day after the parade. And and he was only at that time 21.
Yes.
And he
was 21.
He had that I want to slit your throat mentality.
Kind of reminds you of another legend, doesn't it?
And to always poke fun at a Kobe fan, I always say, look, I have mad respect for Kobe.
Yes,
I do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're ever going to ask me and compare which one of the two though I like more, look, Kobe on his own did great things. Jordan, of course, on his own did great things too.
Yes.
And I said, look, there is no question that Kobe patterned a lot of his game after number 23 in the Bulls jersey. I say, if you're going to ask me to take which one I'm going to take the original, because I don't do clones. But if ever there was a guy who could have, I guess, made the passing of Jordan's career into retirement easier to handle, it was him.
Yes.
It was him. And we got a chance for the following 13 years after Jordan's retirement, to really understand the greatness of Jordan, because here's the greatness of this guy. So great that he had 2 numbers for a team retired.
Yes.
I mean, that's just how great he is.
And he ended his career with a 60-point game. And the way his teammates celebrated around him, you would think they'd won a championship. But that's how amazing, you go out. But that's how you go out. That's exactly how you go out.
20th year, normally it's like, okay, bit minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You may see a greatest hit every now and then with him. You may see a drive down the hole for a dunk. You may see a fade away. You may see one of those fancy passes he would throw every now and then.
Yep.
You may see a chase down block, which he did every now and then himself.
He did.
You saw all of that in that final game, and it was just amazing to me. I was like, this guy, you would think he would rethink retiring. That's how good he looked, and that's how good he was all throughout his career.
Absolutely.
He was just so stellar, you know what I mean? And it was just excellence on display every time you saw him. And I remember like a year ago, I had to go back and remind myself of the greatness of one Kobe being Bryant, and I would see, and I think if I'm not mistaken, it was like a 5-minute clip of final shots he took and hit. Not even thinking about the final shots he took and missed. The final shots he took and hit. That was like 5 minute long.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Footage. I'm thinking, doggone, this man was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And then once he retired, we saw the passion, we saw the emotion, and then we saw the other parts of humanity come to floor. Like, the guy spoke fluent Italian.
Yep.
And we knew that he grew up in Italy, but we didn't know how extensive Italy was. And we learned in his retirement, oh man, that dude flows.
Yes.
in all things Italian. Speaks it fluently. And other stories came that not only he spoke Italian, he spoke Spanish when Paul Gasol was a teammate of his. And he spoke, I forgot the guy, but he spoke Slovenian. I'm thinking, how in the world?
Slava Medvedenko.
Yeah, Slava Medvedenko. Learned guy, intelligent guy, along with the fact that this dude was an on the court savage.
He was a killer. He was a killer on the basketball court. He was a man off it. With his family, and I'll never forget that last night where they celebrated him at the Staples Center. His wife, his daughters were all there, and 20,000 people chanting his name. The clip I'm going to play right now, I introduced this earlier. This is courtesy of ABC. I want to get all the courtesies out. This is courtesy of ABC. The year was 2004. The opponent was the Detroit Pistons. Game 2 of the World Championship Series, and this happened.
O'Neal, and of course Bryant.
And everyone is paying attention to Kobe Bryant.
They start with Shaq. He gives it to Walton. Here comes Kobe. Less than 5 from way outside. Got it! Oh, man! With 2.1.
Oh, to be there in person for that one.
You know, I was thinking about that clip, and the one thing that just rang true to me is, man, you know a lot more about a person in defeat than in victory. And here, that was the first of his 2 defeats he took at the highest level.
Yep.
And the dude just was like, I'm going to do it.
And
if I had to do it by myself.
And he took those losses 4 years apart. 2004 against the Pistons, 2008 against the Boston Celtics.
He just had that mentality. I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to win that brass ring, and I'm going to do this. If I had to do this without the guy who was considered the most dominant player of that era, then I'm going to do it. I actually would prefer to do it that way.
And he did it twice.
And then, yeah. And people were trying to label him that he didn't have it in him, that he needed someone like Shaq to win chips. And in between the 2004-2008 seasons, the dude went on I think it was 2006, he went on a scoring tear, marked by the 81-point performance against the Raptors.
2006.
He just wowed you with everything that he had in him.
Mm-hmm.
Almost brought the team back from 3-1 deficit in the playoffs. I mean, and that's just in between the 2003 championship and the 2009 championship. And it just let you know that this guy was a straight up champion, no matter what you thought of him, no matter how you tried to down him or slice him, no matter how you dissected this game, the dude was a champion from the word go. And the championship he won in 2009. That's when I had my total respect for him.
Yeah.
Just go all the way up to the top. Where I said, you know what? Whatever this guy does, I don't care what anyone says negative about him. You can't say anything to dude. He's seen it all, and he's done it all. You know, he won being the Robin. He won being the Batman now.
Yep.
And he's done it in a way that all you could do is respect it.
He did it for 20 years.
2 decades strong, man. 2 decades strong. And no matter what lesson you taught him, he learned it, he adapted, and he never made the same mistake twice. And it was amazing to see how he grew.
The mistake he made in 2008, losing the World Championship Series, led to 2 more titles, 2009 and 2010.
Faced the same team that gave him that 2008 loss, showed him the door in 2010.
Yep.
And you know, it just goes to show, man, how determined he was, how intelligent he was, how insightful he was. And then the label on the rap he got, being a bad teammate, I always thought that was faulty from the word jump.
Mm-hmm.
Because how could that be when you would see, and Jordan got the same rap.
Yeah, he did.
How could that be?
He did.
How can that be when the goal for any player, whether you're the number 1 player or number 15,
is to win it all.
Chip.
Is to win it all.
And I know Kobe would be the type to do everything possible for you to help him win it all. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a bad teammate to me.
You know something?
And then when you
talk about you talk about the rap that MJ got for being a bad teammate. You know who could either confirm or dispel that rumor, and he wound up dispelling it? Steve Kerr.
Steve Kerr. Mm-hmm.
Hell, John Paxson, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
4 years earlier, Steve Kerr dispelled that rumor because if MJ was a bad teammate, why was MJ trusting Steve Kerr to knock down a 15-footer to win the title?
I was about to say, not just a regular, everyday 15-footer.
A championship clinching 15-footer. As the shot
one that
clock,
gave him championship number 5. Yep.
As the shot clock went dead.
And you remember before the time in the timeout, he got together with Kerr and said,
"If Stockton leaves,
if Stockton leaves, be prepared. That ball's coming your direction."
And
knowing that,
and Steve Kerr said, "I'll knock it out," and he did.
Mm-hmm.
That's what.
To me, that's the basketball savant that I see, and that's why I can't say, "Okay, well, he's a bad teammate." No, they're not.
You know who could dispel that rumor in Kobe Bryant's favor? Ron Artest. 2010.
And have on many different occasions.
Yep, 2010, Game 7. Kobe couldn't get anything going, so he finds Ron Artest, and Ron Artest bangs home a 3 to essentially clinch the title.
Yeah. And Kobe, and that's the thing, Kobe, the shot wasn't falling. What did he do? Okay, well, hey, I'm not getting the points. He ended up getting 21. That's like, I'm not getting the points. Well, I'm going to rebound, play defense, and throw dimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's Kobe to me. Perfect. Thank you. Perfect game.
Yep.
If you want to ask me, how do I think of Kobe in terms of his game? Game 7, 2010 NBA Finals / World Championship Series.
Yep.
His full game wasn't on.
No, it wasn't.
What we know him best is scoring. The shots weren't falling, but he didn't like how some people in today's game just says, okay, well, the shots aren't falling, I'm going to tell you shoot them. No, shots weren't falling. So, okay, how can I impact the team in other ways besides scoring?
How can I help us win? How can I help us get through the final 2 minutes and get us to that title?
And he hit a big-time shot down the stretch, too, in that game.
He really did.
But his mindset was, I don't care if I have to score 40. I don't care if I have to do 10 dimes. I don't care if I have to do 10 assists. I don't care if it's 10 rebounds. I don't care if it's 5 steals. Any way possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Kobe to me. That's Kobe. That game, it wasn't the beautiful drive down the post with a dunk. It wasn't the fadeaway that we know him to have. It wasn't a running jumper. It was just to grind it out, do whatever I have to do to get this chip.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and it was a grind out game. It was indeed a grind out game.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the game we're talking about. ABC/ESPN did the broadcast. This is Game 7, 2010. And Rasheed Wallace had just hit a 3 to cut it to 3. Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, and Jeff Van Gundy on the call.
So good at designing plays out of timeout. Great patience by Pierce, allowing the play to develop. Rasheed Wallace has made some huge plays tonight. Coming up on a minute remaining. Bryant looking. Artest, that's a 3. Bang!
And the crowd explodes. This was a grind-out final. It was a grind-out championship series.
The whole series was a grind-out, yeah.
It was a grind-out series. But that right there illustrates players like Kobe, like MJ, that trust their teammates. Trust their teammates. It's crazy that there's hardly any trust in teammates anymore. But Kobe would be the first to tell you he trusted his teammates.
You know, and like I said, that game right there.
Game 7.
Yeah. If there were any time that he would say, you know what, nobody's shooting but me, that would be the game. But that's not the attitude he took.
Mm-mm.
And so, you know, to me, like I said, the 2009 championship, that was one of those where I said, you can't say anything bad to me about Kobe. That one, I was like, if I had to pick a game that describes Kobe Bryant to me, it's that one.
Yeah. And that's
like, that's the one game.
And that's there's not much more that can be said, folks. Cole Johnson joining me as we continue our tribute to Kobe Bryant. Thanks a lot, my friend. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you, man. Thank you for the time. Wow.
Yeah. Got more coming up in just a little bit. Stick around, folks.